Man, we are back. It's another week of the back page. First things first, shout out to the Honourable Mr. Striker, Sammy. He won't be here this week, unfortunately. Due to unfortunate circumstances, he is currently injured. Got the call from the manager. He will be back soon. So, in the meantime, we'll see him soon. But, of course, new week, new pod. Make sure you guys like, comment and subscribe. Man, how we feeling, man?
Not good.
Not
well.
good?
Not well.
No?
Yeah.
No? Big J, how you feeling?
I'm alright still.
Nah, you lot are happy. Your rivals drop points, and you lot got 3 points. You're happy.
Everyone's got points.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Everyone.
You're content?
I'm not. Yeah, because okay, cool. The Ops have dropped points.
Amen to that.
Can we capitalise? Is the question.
You already did.
Yeah,
No,
but
there's
just about.
We've got 2 games
Just
in hand.
about.
We have 2 games
No,
in
but
hand.
you know what?
It only makes, if we win those 2 games, then
But you know what? You
but
see,
right now,
you see that, yeah? Just enjoy the present moment now.
No,
Collective 3 points.
Let me
Be
tell
happy
you-
now.
No.
Next
No,
week,
but- let me tell you why
if
I
you
can't.
flop, then you could be upset.
tell you
But
why I
right now,
can't.
be
Let me
happy.
say-
Let me tell you why
He
I
doesn't
can't.
get-
Alright, go on.
Because if I enjoy it now
Yeah.
and I enjoy it a bit too much,
Yeah.
then everyone's gonna have smoke.
The calm down. The calm down is gonna
The calm down is not gonna be fun.
Especially in the manner of how we win as well.
Even though it's looking up, maybe just be humble.
Yeah, man.
Nah, me, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna enjoy it because I don't know when we're gonna.
No, because
be
that's
up
where it all
again.
goes wrong. Because you man enjoy it and then it goes left.
I don't
and then
care.
Everyone gets on.
I don't care. I really don't care.
That's what it's done to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
You have to enjoy the little pleasure, the little wins that we get. You have to enjoy.
Do you know what that means?
It's true.
Do you know what that means for you guys?
What does that mean?
Bring Ollie back.
Don't bring him back.
Nah.
Don't bring him back.
Nah. No way. No way.
Take him.
Innit?
Take him.
Hey, Wreck-It Ralph ain't doing
I'd
no
rather
business.
have Wayne Rooney come through. Yeah, I
I have
won't.
Rooney. I have Rooney.
So would I.
The figures with Ralph, yeah, and do you know what?
Be honest. Don't
You better be honest.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah.
Go on.
Ultimately, I don't feel like that's the reason why we're getting all these draws and losses and stuff like that. I don't think that's the reason.
I agree.
Like, just watching, I don't feel like that's the reason. I just feel like the players, for whatever reason,
just not
their heart is not in
finishing.
it. I don't know what it is.
I'll be
Like,
honest
They're
with
not
you,
fit
yeah.
enough.
I'll be honest with you. I agree. I just like saying Wreck-It Ralph.
It's
I
got a
do
nice
agree.
ring to it.
I definitely agree with you. It's like, because even when Ollie was there, even though, okay, cool, yeah, Ollie blundered a few times, it's like, something's up with the players, bro.
Something is wrong.
1,000%.
Something is wrong. I don't know what it is.
Because Ralph came in and all you man were screaming, yeah, get press and all these things there. And
He's trying. He said he's trying, but they're
It's
just
not-
not fit enough.
It's
That's
not
the
hitting,
thing.
bro.
He said they're not
That's
fit
the
enough.
thing.
He said
Well,
they're
bang
not.
first half. Second half is just.
He
Bruh.
said they're not
Gassed
fit
up.
enough.
Yeah.
They actually
at
Actually
the-
said that.
They're
Yeah.
not.
Oh,
They're
wow.
not.
They're
Yeah,
not.
the players are not.
We can't press for 90 minutes.
So what are they doing every week in their training?
I don't know.
And they get
That's
2
what I
training
wanna know.
sessions and they're
That's what I want
professionals.
to know.
Let me
That's
not
what I
even-
want to know.
Let me not.
Cause I see all these propaganda that they put on the Insta page, yeah, making it look like these men are training. They're not training. I know they're not training.
Ronaldo said something similar as well, though.
Bruv, I won't be surprised. I
Oh,
can tell.
man.
You can see if you watch the match, you'll see it.
And yet people still want to criticize Ronaldo because in their eyes they think he's not banging. Bruv, it's just a
Bruv.
problem all round, and that's I think
glad.
that's
I'm
the
happy.
pinnacle.
I'm glad.
Because it's the truth that's being shown, isn't it?
No, niggas will criticize anything. It proves my point. Don't matter who we have, it's gonna get criticism.
Yeah, of course. I think that kind of works in the world of football where you look back and think it's almost like you can't do much to satisfy no one. And I feel like
Can't.
today's topic especially kind of drives that discussion because I, as the neutral in this particular person, but probably one of the biggest fans of him, feel like with what you guys are currently going through, it's been a reoccurring thing because it's been 5 years,
10
a
years.
decade and more, a just continuous BS of we know what we need to do, but it just doesn't show. There's not enough players coming as a cohesion to do it together and supporting the manager because the manager believes us. So why don't we believe them? And vice versa, probably. Management should have that belief in the players. So maybe there should be less of the public criticism, like you said with Ralph, saying that they're not fit enough. But it's your duty as manager to work with your staff to do to get the best out of them. You're a temp. You're a support staff member. You can't come here and talk about my people, them. That's rude. Not me in particular, but I would say that as if that was me. But how I want to start things off, because maybe you guys at home have watched it. Some of us have. Wayne Rooney's documentary was a very, 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 very
watch it, yeah?
excellent.
Yeah, watched it.
I literally finished watching
red card.
it like 15.
Nah, man, that's the yellow, man.
But no, I'd say VAR check, take the yellow pack, because you're a big United fan and you know of Rooney. I know that your opinion of today will still be valid. And you know why else? Because his hair's tight again.
Hey,
He's back.
fresh.
He's on form. He's on form.
Valentine's Day trend.
Get it. He was impressive.
I was
I said I was at home.
Did nothing, man.
Tell the
I
truth.
was watching football. I didn't do nothing. No,
He had a
weekend, though.
he had a little bit of dirt.
Hey.
I'm saying I saw two snaps and man couldn't speak or he couldn't show too much.
Big trouble.
Them man.
Yeah.
Big
But
trouble.
I'm gonna start it off real right, okay? Wayne Rooney came to the scene in Premier League senior football at the age of 16. He was a academy graduate of Everton. Incredible player. But what I'd like to ask you guys is, the talent was recognised by the world in terms of his ability, his character. But what was your first memory of Wayne?
First memory.
Do you know?
It has.
Go on, because
Do you know what's
everyone
mad?
knows what
I
it
feel
is.
like my first
I know
memory
what- I
is
know what
everyone's
mine
first
is.
memory.
Yeah, exactly.
My first
mine
memory
is.
was him banging against Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's my first
That's,
memory.
I'm not
That's
gonna
how
lie.
it
And
That was mine as well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That was mine.
I was just like, wait, what? who is this kid? Stuff like that doesn't happen. And it
don't.
didn't used to happen back then, kind of thing. Donny was 16. I was thinking, bruv, how is this guy doing this? That's what, and I was just like, wait, rah. And the way he used to play as well, I don't know, he used to play with such aggression and like
Hunger
that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't even see players with that anymore.
Nah.
He's just, and I was just like, this is my guy. I like this guy, bro. Because I used to try and kind of play with a. I'll calm down now. I'm the skills, but I like the aggression.
Yeah. Facts.
He's playing like he's got a bone to pick with. Like it's a personal. Like he's
100%.
beefing the other team.
100%. I can agree with that. Obviously, as a fellow Gooner in the room, it would be hard to not pretend like that game wasn't already tough as it was. We was a very solid team. The league feared us. We played a style of football that a lot of teams found difficult to play against. And Everton, as a club, then and now has always just had trouble in terms of they always give you grief whenever. And when they brought in this young boy, and I never knew it at the time because it was the moment that just shook everything. But when you really took it in and the documentary displayed it, a 16-year-old player gets his first senior appearance in the Premier League in the last 10 minutes of the game. You're 1-1 in the game against the league champs at the time. We're very, very dangerous in the league. League leaders, I should say. We were dangerous at the time. And in the last 10 minutes, he knew he wanted to make this moment special. And really, the best way possible for him to make it special is do what he does best. And he banged arguably one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. And it also gave them the win against such a team at home.
That also ended our unbeaten run at the time.
Get it?
That is mad.
For me,
I know that one.
that was bigger than anything. Bigger than anything you can ask for, because why, well, not why, more so, how do you copy that? How do you emulate that? Like, you're 16. Premier League football is one thing, but to do it at that age, the boy was fearless.
But do you know what was mad about that goal? His name was ringing bells in
Prior to that,
in the FA Youth Cup and that. His name was ringing bells. Yeah, Everton's got this English baller called Rooney who's sick. Like, so everyone's just waiting. Let's see. So he finally starts but he finally plays a Premier League game and he does that. So that he's the truth.
And do you know what's mad? For your name to be ringing back then with no social media,
Hey,
YouTube or
you was a
anything like
problem.
that,
You was a
must
problem.
have been something.
You was a problem.
serious.
You need to. That's what I don't want to spoil it, but it was one of the first.
Now we have to spoil it.
Yeah, we have to.
Hey, don't spoil it. I'm watching it tonight, man. I'm watching it tonight, bruv.
No, but it just runs back to one of what David Moyes said at the time. So
Yes.
Just one spoiler. Just the one. Just the one.
But it
It's
makes sense.
It's nothing major, but
yeah.
it's just that obviously when Moyes got the job, someone told him he was lucky, and he was like, "Why?" and someone from them was like, yeah, there's a boy in the youth squad, Wayne Rooney.
Trust me.
Even Arsene Wenger's interview afterwards.
Yeah,
After the goal.
Wenger's interview after that game as well.
He prophesied his whole career.
He literally said, "I hope you don't have no injuries
Injuries.
within the next few years because
This
yeah,
It's going to be a problem.
he's going to be a problem, 100%."
mad.
Hey, what's important about that again is as well, which you kind of said, was that moment in scoring a goal. It's like, where was you? How did you feel when that year he was able to get his debut? Everyone as a neutral was happy because Arsenal lost. But if you could cast your mind back, because personally, I remembered that I had to watch the highlights of the game. I didn't watch it live at the time, but when I watched it, my heart sank because I was like, I was in two minds. I was like, I love this player. He's sick. Who is this guy? Wait, this is the Wayne Rooney that they've been talking about. Nah, let me keep an eye on this brother. And at the same time, it's like, you've kind of broken us a bit because we need to now come back into it. Can you kind of cast your minds back to where you was that year in that game?
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
A while ago.
All I know, I definitely watched the match live. I definitely watched the match
Yeah,
of the day.
same.
Them times, Sky was a bit you know what I mean? That's one thing I know.
Hey, to this day, Sky is still a bit.
I'm thinking that shit ain't changed one bit. You know what? Going back through it, yeah, because as part of that documentary, which was really impressive for me, which a lot of the players at the time have come out publicly and said since their career, which is interesting because personally for me, I feel like they could have probably done more so at the time they were playing. Again, Rooney, really, really interesting career. And rarely kind of seen it a lot more now. Got called up to the England squad by 18 years of age. And immediately, he's home. The squad at the time, or even squads, there was a couple tournaments, they had various games along the way. You could arguably say, because we're looking at a different era of England now, you could arguably say that the England squad during that era could have been visibly, from top to bottom, one of the best squads in terms of the balance and the quality that they had, disregarding Darius Vassell's caller.
Hey, racism.
Absolutely.
It's funny you said that as well because, again, another spoiler, Shebs, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna be making a lot of references.
You're ruining
No,
it.
you said that, but Henri said the same thing.
Yeah.
No, but they were called the golden generation. That squad.
Henri, like, think about it, for Henri to say that,
That's mad.
and the French
That
squad
French
that
team that
Henri
he
was
was
playing in, and
That's
he's
mad,
like,
that's mad.
he's looking at the England team thinking,
Wow, this is
raw.
the team.
That's mad.
Like,
Seen
them man got
Lampard and
squad.
Gerrard, Scholes. Like,
So when
this
you
is the
did,
team.
do you know what's mad? I feel like that's been England's thing from then till now.
No, that generation was special.
No,
though.
but
paper,
I,
when
no,
I
I agree with you. But it's like when every major competition that comes along, you look at the England team and think this team can do it, and they don't.
Yeah. But if you was to say one generation that came
that should've
with
done
yeah,
it.
it was
Yeah,
that
if it
one.
was, if it was any that one,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
How impressed were you with that generation and that squad at the time?
I thought it was dope.
It was dope, yeah. It was a dope
Like,
team. It was a
even-
dope England team.
From top to bottom.
Even before Rooney stepped in it, because before
Yeah,
Rooney
that's what I'm saying.
before Rooney stepped in,
Owen, Shearer.
yeah, so it would have been the
think
squad.
Shearer
The
was
squad that went to the 2002 World Cup was sick.
Yeah.
Rooney was like the cherry on top, the icing
Yeah.
on the cake.
And the
Rooney was like-
2002 World Cup, it was pretty much the same squad that Rooney walked into 2 years later for the Euros.
I know because we've seen it, it's happened, it's a conversation to have because it is what it is, but let's be real. Do we think they could have done it in any of those tournaments? Do we think they could have really gone all the way?
Tournament football is
like
hard.
it's hard.
And once
It's
you
hard
get to like the quarters,
the
anyone can do it.
Anyone,
Yeah,
yeah.
can do it. Yeah, it's free fall.
But I feel like with that team, they should have. Because in my lifetime, that's the best England team that I have seen.
Yeah.
Agreed.
On paper.
Yeah.
shall I say. But they should have done something, but it's a shame that they didn't. Annoying thing is, that's when I was an England fanboy. I love England. I loved England so much. These men were my heroes. It's broke my heart so many times. Like,
I don't blame you because I can imagine the actual, like the full-on diehard fans and how they felt.
I remember school. Like, I remember like the Brazil match, the England 2002. Yeah, this is like one of my earliest football kind of memories. Yeah, I remember we didn't have to go to school so we can watch that match. It was early in the day.
You talking about the O2 World Cup?
Yeah.
Bruv, they used to let us in school early and
Just
we
to
used
watch it.
watch it in the hall before school started.
Fam.
I was still in primary school, bro. I was in year 6.
Man, what a memory. That's a memory still.
What, they'd be like, yeah, Breakfast Club. Come and watch the game before school starts.
Come on.
Fam.
I feel like when you really look back at it, and they've been going through so much, and Rooney's presence in the squad meant so much to them as well because they knew within themselves how talented they were as a team. They knew at the time that with a player like Rooney, there was Gerrard, there was Ferdinand Terry's, the lot. They had different influential they had different influential players and a whole group of leaders as well, and winners most especially. But looking back, and even now, possibly, what would you think could be, as a fan or as a neutral, just understanding your football, what do you think would have been their biggest regret as an England squad?
I mean, ultimately not winning anything because, again, like just talking about that team, arguably, like in every position, maybe apart from like keeper, like in the world, you will mention one of their names. Like in pretty much most of the positions in that team, one of those players will come into the question. It was actually Cole Webber, all of them. Like there's so much talent. So
Just thinking again to look into that squad, and it's a national team. The keeper's good.
Could you
defenders
blame
are
the
good.
management?
I personally want to blame. It's a mix. I think I want to blame management for being a bit naive. I want to blame players for not having a bit more belief in themselves personally, and the key factors of the fans and media are playing a massive part of a lot of it because what they're so familiar in doing and what they do so frequently is they're quick to judge.
Hey, that stood out for me, while I was watching the doc.
Media, right?
The media were dirty back then.
And it didn't even make it didn't make me know it so well when I was younger because I was so heavily focused in just where's the problem here. And Wayne mentioned it. Sorry, spoiler. Wayne mentioned this. Wayne mentioned it at the time in discussion, and it blew my mind not even thinking of it like that because it was the norm when they were doing it at the time. But the media was so ever present when it came to Bex and Posh.
Yeah.
And at the time you knew why. Spice Girl, special woman, David Beckham, special player. But then coming to the end of his career and moving on to what he was going on to be, Wayne Rooney still playing, had a few more years ahead of him. And you would think to yourself, okay, his wife and who she was and him and who he had become and what he was doing, you think, yeah, I like me some of that precious. I'm gonna have that. I thought, whoa, the media really dug deep to kill careers. I'm thinking, raw, any little
Their
thing.
own, your own.
Any little and that's what that's even a free thought. Like, do you think it made sense for the media to attack their own talent and their own player and not try and have any presence of protecting them? I get the media have their duties and their jobs, but going away slightly but bringing it in because it's got its own correlation and relevance, similar to what the Nicholas Anelka situation was. And I remember watching that documentary a couple months back, and you never knew that it was very important for a player's mental and who they had mentoring them or supporting them to determine what kind of career they was having. And someone like Anelka looked like it was just all him. You can't really override him. And Rooney had a lot of support, but he would still go off and do his thing because of just his upbringing. So I'm saying, do you feel like the media could have really just backed off him because he started young, and he's still going every step of the way as a young man. He didn't need that at that time where you're just killing his personal career. Do you get it? Like, I feel even when I say, all right, his private life, like Wayne's private life for me, it was up and down. But looking back, do you think it played an influence in his career as well, in your opinions?
It definitely did. It definitely did. And the funny thing about the media is, like in terms of like football players and like even just celebs and stuff like that, they always have the people that they want to kind of make look in the positive, like so like Bex and that. And again, more time, they're more.
Trust me. Beckham had these.
No, he had. Yeah.
They got him.
Yeah, but for me, I never kind of like even. I don't feel like there was ever that kind of dirt. Like the way they made
They got
Rooney
Beckham.
look.
Trust me, they got Beckham. Trust me.
Okay, maybe I can't remember.
Yeah,
Espe-
they can't remember.
Especially in the '98 World Cup
They
when he got
got him. When he got sent off, they got him. They
got him.
Okay, then maybe.
Upon his return, they yammed him up like £1.
The only thing that redeemed Beckham is because he's the one that made them qualify to the Euros afterwards.
with the goals.
But if it wasn't for that, they will still be on his neck till this day.
100%.
But then, with that being said, then I feel like it definitely will affect a player if you're you're going to a tournament or whatever, and you're seeing and you're expecting your country to be behind you, like you're representing the country, or whatever, and what you're seeing is negative stuff. You know, again, you're probably not even gonna see any positive stuff. As when you think about it, obviously there's no social media and stuff like that as well. So where are you actually seeing the positivity apart from maybe
media,
like your family?
newspapers.
That's it. You're not gonna see anything. All the media you're seeing is from newspapers, magazines, and all that kind of stuff. And this is if it's negative. I mean, it's gonna affect you.
Talk of the
It's
town.
gonna affect you.
Yeah.
I guess in how I see it, because I feel like a part of that then is still ever present now, but then I don't know. It feels interesting because Rooney in the documentary made it kind of known that when growing up, as he has now, he's almost 40. Like he's recognised even during that time how many mistakes he made, the decisions that he put himself in before. Just like, even when I really think about it on a scale like this, just 4 years before he made his professional senior debut, he was living his normal life with his friends, going out, going concerts and getting into scruffs at 12, 13 years of age. Brother, me at 12, 13 years of age, you know what I was doing? I was playing ball. I was chasing gal. I was living my boisterous life. Me trying to like live that kind of life or anything, my mum would have killed me. My mum would have genuinely just killed me. She would have done everything she could have possibly done to whoop my ass. FYI, obviously we don't condone GBH. Disclaimer. But my point is, it's just, it must have been very interesting to kind of have the family that you have who support you, the career that you desperately want to have in your footballing life. Like you want to build a family, you found the woman that you love. And even then, like, how interesting do you think it is when you see that Rooney at one stage, in the beginning of his career, and almost throughout, his name was always wrong. People would speak about it, and especially when he plays Champions League debut for Man United, 18 years of age, leaving his boyhood club, which is a massive decision. If the way I looked at it, I thought, hold on a second, he's a Liverpool boy, loves Everton, had to make the big cool decision and say, should I stay with this club that I love and then pursue the big clubs, or am I ready to go now? He knew he was ready. I thought, even with the past life that he was so used to, that I think was, in a sense, what saved him. And do you think that kind of decision is important for a young player, especially today, where the social media takes a lot of it takes a lot away from people? We're talking the likes of Sancho, Pogba, Foden, Greenwood, and I say Pogba and Lingard. These guys are in that kind of golden generation of, we speak a lot about him through social media, but also they still have a lot of presence on and off field. And then the likes of Sancho and everything, they were talking of the town solely on word of mouth and solely on social media. Do you think it's important for them to kind of look at, well, not so much Lingard and Pogba, obviously they're to touch 30, but the Lingard, the Sanchos and the Fodens. Do you think it's so important for them, the players that are under 23, and think, what are you doing with yourself for your future, and how do you feel now? Do you feel protected? Do you feel like there's still a lot going on for you? And do you think the social media as well as the media are making you lose focus with things? Like, what do you think about it?
Ultimately, I think it's about having self-confidence. Because there's another thing that stood out during the documentary was Rooney's confidence. When he had his first training session with the senior squad in Everton, he said I'm the best
player.
I'm the best.
I'm the best player.
He knew
And
I
he's
was the
16
best.
years of
At
age.
16, first training session with the senior
With
squad.
a Premier
He
League
said
club.
I'm the best here.
Yeah.
I really knew
His
it.
confidence was unbelievable.
No one could tell him
Unbelievable.
nothing. No outside social media influence. He knew he was the
And
guy.
he played with that confidence. though.
He did. That's
Like,
the thing.
there was
mad.
no one's ever gonna take that away from him, because what he believed and what he said, he proved it on the pitch. Like, what's shocking is not necessarily your choice for someone who has to look at someone like Rooney to grow up, but in my humbling opinion, you do. Like, if there's any way that you're gonna be a professional footballer, you can't be timid.
Just have self-confidence. You have to.
Like,
Especially if as an attacking player, you need confidence. You need self-confidence.
like, it's important. And again, I mentioned even some of those names because I felt with the likes of Phil Foden, for example, Pep Guardiola came in and it was similar to like the Wayne Rooney. He got the buzz in the ear. Oh, we got this young talent in who's an English boy. Have a look at him. And I could be wrong in saying it because my memory's not great right now, but I think Foden had not necessarily played in the first team just yet, or it was that next stage basically. And Pep's arrival was kind of just almost perfect for him, because then it was like, okay, let's see what we can do with this boy. And I'm intrigued to ask, do you think that it was almost harder for a player young then in the Ronaldo, Messi, Rooney era than it is compared to now, because the likes of Gavi at Barcelona, Pedri, got Foden, Greenwood.
Do you mean like harder to come through?
To how hard it is to come through playing senior football and showing that ever-present confidence and being able to match up with your senior peers? Because I see even lower league football that young players 18 below, they find it difficult, and that's that level of football. If you have dreams of being a professional footballer, if you can't handle that, how are you going to handle this?
I mean, I personally think it was harder then than now.
Why?
I feel like now there's so many more factors to it. Like
A
with
lot
like
more pressure, isn't it?
it's a lot more pressure now, 1000%. Because you're gonna have the people around you in your ear.
What, now or then?
Now it's more pressure now.
So that means it's harder now. Yeah.
I mean, do you know what it is? I would still say it's harder then, but I'd say there's more pressure now because of things like social media. But I still think it was harder then.
And even money.
That's what I'm saying, because I feel,
getting
I'll be
paid
real
bread.
with you, like watching that Rooney thing, money was never part of his thing.
Yeah.
You could tell all the footage they showed us from him being young and coming through, you could just tell he just wanted to be great. He just wanted to be a baller. He didn't be, everything else comes with it. And I think once you have that mentality of everything else comes with it, you're just gonna face whatever it is you want to do. And you're gonna crack on with it.
The only argument I will have with players back then and players now is all the stats. Back then we wasn't really stats heavy. Now,
what we saw.
how many assists are you getting? How many key passes are you making? How many interceptions?
How many kilometers?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I think it's that.
So
but
many
then
different stats.
Even the way some of the football clubs work now as well, it's different. like managers and then director
Director
of
of
football
football.
and all this other
Like,
stuff.
they
There was,
wouldn't
there was not a
going
lot of
to.
that.
Like,
then.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There weren't none of that before. It was just that boom.
One manager doing
I'm the
everything.
manager. This
Yeah,
is what I
run
want.
everything.
What you lot saying? But now the manager's talking to the director of football and whoever else is there, and it's like, who are all these people and why are you here, bro? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, in terms of it being harder, the reason why I say back then I think it was harder is because there was no like blueprint for like young players coming in. Like now,
Yeah,
we've
do you know
seen
what?
it. Like
Yeah.
we've seen examples for ROONEY and all these young guys that have now been inducted to teams. So now I feel like teams are more confident to be like, you know what, let's try this guy kind of thing. Let's bring on this 16, 17, 18-year-old. But back then, I didn't see that happening kind of thing.
Nah, it happened. It happened with like United. Most of United's squad came from the youngsters. Like Beckham came from Gary Neville, Nicky Bart, Paul Scholes. They're all class.
You know what?
But
But
even
you see, I'm gonna interfere and ask you one simple question. With the class of '92 and various other academy players, predominantly from a United standpoint, how influential do you think they were for everyone else, generally?
Yeah, big. Because I remember there's that famous quote from, what's his name? The pundit, what's his name? I forgot his name. He used to do Match of the Day. Don't do it no more. And he said, you can't win nothing with kids.
What, Alan Hansen?
Yes, Alan Hansen. He said, you can't win nothing with kids. That's because
he was in an era where
Because we had bare youngsters.
Yeah.
United had bare youngsters.
Yeah,
So he's saying, nah, these men ain't going to win the league.
and he did.
Exactly.
And he did.
So I think after that, they thought, actually, we can win things with kids.
so we're saying United set piece.
you were very much at the forefront, top dog, ahead of the race, ahead of the game, because what the likes of Ferguson was doing and your club was doing, you was showing that it was very much possible to trust in your own
Youth.
and not have to overspend, because it's a matter of loyalty rather than funding, because that was what I was looking to just genuinely see how you guys felt was as United supporters, as a neutral. But from what we understood, because it was a shock, but it happened. ROONEY leaving Everton to go to United. Firstly, how did you guys feel about it generally?
Hey, big up Newcastle for trying to. That man tried to bid as well, you know.
Yeah, they wanted to replace Shiro. They thought they wanted a new Shiro in their life. They wanted to try and get a league.
They were
title.
never get. Once he was in the frame, they were never
What
getting
someone
him.
said was rude though. They were like, oh, if Rooney don't want to win nothing, why go to Newcastle? He might as well just
Exactly.
stay at Everton.
Exactly. It's
You know,
true.
read
Chill
that.
at Everton.
That is rude.
That is rude.
That is
But
rude.
true. Rude,
it's
but
though.
true.
That is rude.
It's true
That's
though.
half true, man. Because with the talent that ROONEY was, and if they were backed financially at the time, they could have just got the right talents and pushed on, man. Give them a chance.
He made the right decision by coming to United.
Differently, I don't know. From the outside looking in, any United fan that would have felt away in a bad way was stupid. Most United fans knew what they were getting. They knew what they were getting.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's why a lot of them are very, very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited because they're thinking, young player and he's moving like this, he's gonna be here for a long time and he's gonna do bits.
It'll be stupid to even let that type of talent go.
And that was what happened.
For how much it was as well, really. Like for
How much
what-
do you lot pay for Rooney?
20.
20 years.
Can you
something like
imagine?
that, yeah.
20 at the time, and that was at the time an expensive transfer. At the time,
For
People
his
were
age.
saying
the
stuff at
the
time,
contract
I
offer as
remember.
well.
And that was like what, 2000 what? 2000 I wanna say
2003,
Yeah.
one of the 2 years, yeah. 02 or 03.
Yeah.
Because
Mad.
he came. And
I remember people saying that's too much peas. Cause I remember vaguely, even like when because Ferdinand came 2002, if I can, or whatever, and I mean, he came for 30, and it was like, how can you spend 30 for
On
a
a defender. Yeah,
all
yeah.
this kind of stuff.
and look what he
Now
was.
look now. We're getting Harry Maguire for 80.
Bro,
Inflation.
inflation is mad. 80, bro. Wait,
the thing is the 80's not even bad, but
Huh?
look at what he's doing, bro.
It's bad.
I agree.
No, you man,
He's worth 30.
if Maguire was balling, you won't say it's bad.
I
No,
know.
he's worth
that's
30.
true. That's true. If he was balling out, but
But the thing is, and I really think it's difficult now because as much as it is an inflation, as much as it is beautiful to know that loads of clubs have millions to spend, the fact remains is that Rooney was not only just a footballer, he was a street footballer. He was the type of footballer that if football was happening on the road and Mandem was just kicking ball, he's there. And he had so much raw fundamentals of it going into a professional environment.
Yeah.
3 European titles,
No,
two Champions League, 1 Europa League.
Yeah, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa.
Oh, 1?
Yeah.
Wait, so it's 2 in total?
Yeah.
So one Champions League, 1 Europa League, so 2 European. So again, because the other 2 Champions League finals were very unfortunate because
the greatest club team.
you get it?
With the greatest player.
But everything, and this is what I was intrigued by, and I'm gonna somehow make this into a question, you man. Ferguson believed at the time, because again, being a manager is not easy, and at this current time now, we're gonna see that from Wayne's point because he's taken that role. Ferguson believed in that final that he should have had Jason Park on that field dealing with Messi. As fans, do you feel like you
the first final? The first one.
I believe the first.
It's always easier to say afterwards, isn't it? It's always easier in hindsight.
in hindsight.
So,
But
That's the thing.
when you think back, though, do you not feel like some parts he was right?
yeah.
In a
But
sense,
at the time,
he
you would have
was
never
right.
known. At
Because,
the time,
at the time you would have never known, because again, as great as Messi was, that wasn't the peak of his career.
Oh, hell
kind
no.
of think he was still.
That was like
doing
that.
bits.
That was like the limelight. Like that was like that pre, but still like mid Messi, if anything. That was like
that was pre him now reaching peak form. But hindsight definitely, because from time that Messi is scoring a header, bruv, that hurt me so much.
Can't
Like,
lie.
how is the shortest
I
man on the pitch scoring a header when we've got
Ferdinand and Vidic at the
bro.
back.
Even
He's
now,
getting all over it now, bro. He's getting all over it.
Because, my days. Like, good. But anyway, so hindsight, fair enough. But just going back to even just Rooney, because even in the second final against Barcelona, when I remember when he even scored, he just took matters to his own hand, just outside of the box, cutting, bended it in, made it 3-1. I just remember that. But and that was the season after Ronaldo left, and if I'm correct, I think that was his best ever scoring. That's his best season,
record.
best goal scoring record and everything like that. And the thing is, what I want to say about Rooney and why I think Rooney is, for me, I think he's the greatest English player. I don't know about it. I didn't see everyone, so for me, I'm just saying it based on what I have seen, and I think he's the greatest English player because, again, the guy was so versatile in so many different roles. Bruv, whether he was asked to come and now play up top, direct up top, or support the striker, or play a deeper kind of midfield role, he always executed it to the best of his ability, kind of thing. Whether he was playing with superstars or not, you would see this guy do his job. I rate Rooney so much, man. I rate Rooney so much.
Have to.
It's highly
Have
rated.
to. It's just, it's weird that it's not been granted enough, and I feel at this current point of time, it's clear as day. I'm gonna back you on that. Top goal scorer for the country, top goal scorer for the club that he went on to being one of the greatest players in Premier League history. If he had stayed at Everton, he would have broke that record too. And it makes the argument, especially with the fact of him being so great in many positions, but because he was so great as a striker, they didn't even want to credit him for it. What? You don't have many other players who dominates a league so well and still has such a presence as a goal-scoring threat and a creative player. As we discussed not long ago, Wayne Rooney's in top 5 for the goals in the league and in assists.
That's so
Yeah,
mad.
that's crazy.
It's so
And
mad.
you've got to remember, he left United early.
That's what I'm saying. Donny
It's so
left.
funny you said that.
Fam,
That's literally what I was just looking at now.
when did he leave? What? When he was
He's-
33?
He's second all-time top
So
goal
mad.
scorer in the league.
Mad.
So
He was
mad.
behind Shearer.
He's just behind. He's just behind.
He could have finished it.
After he's
He
behind
could've come
Shearer.
out of retirement.
Where's he
and
on
do
the
it.
assist?
He's behind Shearer by
third.
52
He's
goals,
third on the assist.
Third on the assist.
and he's third on assists
And the
with
only person
103.
that beat him, and it's because of his slight longevity was Fabregas, and the person who's leading is
Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggs.
That's
Because of his
longevity.
Yeah. Like for me, and it's semi gonna lead us closing on the documentary side, is I'm genuinely grateful compared to any documentaries out. Like,
Yeah.
it's a place. It's a special place for me.
Wait, where does it even rank in terms of all these player documentaries? Because you know,
I'm
I
not gonna lie.
was just watching this Neymar one. I'm not even finishing it, man. I'm not gonna
I'm not.
finish it. Because
I'm not
for
gonna
me,
lie, eh?
Rooney's is. I'd probably say it's the best one I've seen.
Yeah,
Is it?
that's literally what I was gonna say. Easily,
I feel like they just kept it all the way real with
Yeah.
everything.
it was real.
Everything.
I didn't need to feel emotional, apart from the time when he banged against us, which I felt again. But I felt happier to see it this time because I'm seeing it from a fan. I'm admiring him at this point because this is a player who, again, I wanted him at my club. And that type of mentality is what, stupid to say because it's incomparable, but it's just a similarity of it. We had that in Wilshere. But Wilshere, unfortunately, we know what happened there. But what Rooney was as a player, bruv, he offered so much as a striker. He was a great threat. He was fucking fearless, but everyone feared him. You don't have that now.
It's
You
true.
don't.
You actually don't.
Players
You actually
going in fearless and feared that. The only player who I'll give that similar fraction to, because I know people fear his physique, and he goes into games fearless, is Haaland.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my closest comparison.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
comparison.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But again, the realisticness of
tenacity,
today,
like,
it's just the players' tenacity, it's their personality. Like, to go off topic a bit, but it's semi-relevant. In a little content video that I saw with Arsene Wenger, one of the questions they asked the managers is, what was your biggest regret at the time of your management? Or even, but no, to be more serious, what was the biggest?
remember what he said.
There was a biggest signing that you regretted not to sign. Sorry, and he had two answers. Wenger's regret in not getting Ronaldo when he had the chance to get Ronaldo.
Who was the second one again?
Kante.
That was it.
N'Golo.
And for me, why Kante was so important, because it was all rumoured. It was happening. He was there. We had the chance to take him from Leicester. He had the chance to take him before Leicester. He knew about him. He's got a great relationship with the club. So he's like, and why again I've gone from the conversation of Rooney, Wilshere, as a Kante. It's just that importance of a manager and players understanding that there is a core and a representation of that. You guys are missing that heavily now, which is why you're so upset. You don't have a core. You've got Mr. Blobby just in your squad, up and down. Like you're just fucked. You've got no shape. Whereas we have a shape, but it's a question of confidence and quality.
To be fair, I'm not even gonna act like I know what's wrong. I don't know, man. At this point, I don't know, man.
Bro,
I don't know, bro.
I think the only people that know what's wrong is the people at United.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, bro. I
If
couldn't tell you.
it ever does become public knowledge, I don't think it will until very
Later
very
on.
much later.
But all I can say now, before we move on to the next beautiful stage, make sure you watch the documentary. It's a great watch. I know this man to my left is going to watch it tonight. And if he doesn't...
He's already seen it, bro. He's already seen it.
Right, man, then, it's time. You know what time it is. We did it last week.
Okay.
We're back in this week.